Our next, there is the NCAA championship record from 40 years ago, and the collegiate record was set this year by that young man, the junior from Notre Dame, Yared Nuguse.
Well, he also comes in as the defending champion. He won this event here, at Texas in 2019. He's the first athlete since 2013-14 to try to attempt to win back-to-back titles, when Mac Fleet did it for the University of Oregon just 7 years ago.
And we've seen this young man a lot this year as we cover the SEC during the season. Ilya Kipsang, the freshman from Alabama, number 4 on the all-time outdoor college list. This is his first NCAA outdoor championships.
Well, it's a little strange to see that this is the only event he's competing in as well. But I like it. He's going to be able to put all of his focus here. Next to him, you see him second from the right. Next to him, Sam Tanner, who has run extremely fast this season as well. But at the NCAA Indoor Championships, he was scheduled to score some big points in the 800 meters for Washington, but did not get through to the finals.
So as I mentioned, 24 athletes total qualified to come here from the 2 regional championship meets, regional events. 2 heats of 12 athletes are going to have the top 5 across the line will automatically qualify to Friday's final, then the next 2 fastest times over the 2 heats. So just trying to cut the field in half for Friday's final.
Well, Yared Nuguse is definitely familiar with this facility. He was here for the Oregon Twilight meet and took down a couple of big names, winning the 1500 meters. Took down Cole Hawker and Cooper Tier in a really exciting finish there. And so you can expect fireworks if those guys can all get through to the finals. And here we see Kipsang doing what he always does. Coach says just do enough to win the heat, but you can always expect a little more from Kipsang.
Saw him running a very aggressive semifinal at the SEC championships at A&M about a month ago. He's looking down at his watch to see what his first lap was. It was pretty aggressive, 56 seconds in a semifinal heat.
Well, the SEC championships, so he was scheduled to run both the 15 and the 800 meters. A really difficult double, was not able to come away with the victory in the 8.
But he loves running out there all by himself. He does a lot of looking around and looking back. But if memory serves, he ran like 3:37 in the semifinal at A&M in very windy conditions. Nuguse, he's the collegiate record holder. He's staying within himself. Just wants to be in the top 5 at the end of this in order to advance. Most of the field realizes Kipsang out a little aggressively. Don't really want to follow that kind of a time in a heat.
Well, Nuguse has won all the majors that you can. He's got a conference title. He's got a cross-country title. He's trying to win back-to-back championships. He took the NCAA Indoor Championships off in 2019 so he could help his team win that distance medley relay. Did not run the individual mile at those championships.
Kipsang throwing in a 60-second lap. They went through a 1:55. At least he went through in 1:55. The pack probably went through in a 1:57. So it's a very honest pace. Kipsang coming up to the bell, and the rest of the field starting to get a little bit more serious. You can see them starting to get in position for this final 400 meters. Remember, top 5 finishers automatically qualifying to Friday's final. Kipsang out there all by himself, pushing the air aside. Luckily for today, not a windy day in any way. Perfect for middle distance running with temperatures in the high 60s. Nuguse now moving into second.
Nuguse is just so smooth. He's just so efficient. His arm action is just so minimal. Really reminds me a lot of Saeed Ouida back in the day. Dwight, it's a name that you might remember.
Sure, mid-80s, mid to late 80s. So Kipsang now has done all the work. Looking around to make certain he's fine. Nuguse is also in good shape. Salisbury of Georgetown is also there. So the top 5 have easily separated themselves from the rest of the field. 3:37 again for a semifinal heat. They are serious. John Anderson said this may be the best event in the meet. Looking around to make certain he's fine. The Goose is also in good shape. Salisbury of Georgetown is also there.
Garcia Romo there coming up on the outside.
Five easily separated themselves.
Looking around. But this is a typical Iliad Kipsang. Typical Iliad Kipsang run. He's going to use all of his energy in the first 3 laps and just hang on. But I like it. He made it an honest pace, made everybody else work. Nobody was going to get through to the finals without putting in some really solid laps there.
That's the fastest qualifying semifinal in meet history, and 4 guys under 3:38 in a semifinal. The old time was 3:39.32, so they are serious here and putting down some good times here at the new Hayward Field. As we move on to second semifinal. And the Oregon folks are going to love this. Cole Hawker, the freshman from Oregon, the NCAA indoor mile and 3,000 meter champion when we had the meet in Fayetteville back in March.
And there in the middle of the track in the blue and red, that's Waleed Suleiman from Ole Miss. He's your your SEC outdoor champion. But it wasn't long after Cole Hawker won those indoor titles that people began to start talking about him making an Olympic team. He has the Olympic trials qualifying standard, but he does not have the Olympic A standard as of yet.
No less than 3 Oregon Ducks in this second semifinal. By the way, the bubble time to get through, 3:39. So these guys cannot come out here and make it a tactical semifinal. They've got to run for real.
Well, the other Oregon athletes, James West, the senior, and Reed Brown, they both have run faster than 3:39 this season.
That is James West currently leading with his teammate Cole Hawker in second. And surely they know the situation, what they have to do. Now, of course, the main thing is to try and be in the top 5. Then it doesn't really matter what the time that is that you've run.
Talon Franco from BYU hanging out in 3rd position. And that's Paul Ryan from Washington State there hanging out in 4th. As you see, Waleed Suleiman now. Looks like he's a little boxed in.
58.8 for the first 400 meters, so well behind the pace set by Kipsang, but Kipsang was by himself for most of the race until about 300 meters to go. So still a very honest pace that Cole Hawker is now taken over from his teammate James West.
We're expecting to see Cooper Tier in this race, but he's only slated to run in the 5,000 meters.
Casey Comer there in Villanova, staying out of trouble on the outside of lane 1 or into lane 2. It's a 61-second tour of the track, so right around 1:59, almost 2 minutes. So they're going to have to move things along. For those athletes who are not going to be in the top 5, they could be in trouble. We might get the people through on time from semifinal number 1.
And I think Waleed Suleiman senses that certainly as well as he goes to the front and tries to pick up the pace a little bit with Cole Hawker.
Suleiman was the 1500 meter SEC champion 2 years ago.
And we just lost 2 people towards the back of the pack.
They're not moving there in the far turn as we get the bell. We're now down to 10 athletes in this race. Hawker still leading from Suleiman. Definitely picking things up now. You can see the turnover start to increase. That was a 58-second 400 meters for Hawker. Going through in 2:56.1. So this has become very similar to the first semifinal in terms of time. Hawker over Suleiman. And then Paul Ryan by himself there in 3rd for Washington State. Talon Franco of BYU in 4th. And West and Reed of Oregon looking like They are going to be not automatically qualifying. Maybe Ryan on the inside, getting that 5th and final automatic qualifying position. We'll have to wait till we see the official results. Hawker winning the race, but let's go back and look at the collision that took 2 of the athletes out.
Well, there you see just at the back of the pack there, and that's the Michigan.
Tom Dodd, the junior from Michigan, tangled up with Dias Malvana of Nebraska.
Both guys go down hard, but Cole Hawker's kick finishes this season have just become absolutely legendary. Even when he doesn't win the races, he has such fantastic last laps. He's run even a couple of 54-second closing laps on some of his distance races, but just one of those guys who can bring it home.
All right, we'll get the results sorted out and give them to you when we come back from the break. More from Hayward Field after this.